Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Thriving in Chaos. I'm your host, Rebel Phoenix. With me, as always, is my awesome co host, Stella Rune.
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. How you doing?
Good. I feel like it's been so long since I've heard our theme song.
I know, right? I never get sick of hearing it, though. I never get sick of hearing it.
I love that song. It's so good.
Although, what I am sick of at this point is having to swim everywhere because of how much rain we've gotten.
Uh, so we got a bunch of the rain, but we mostly got just like thunderstorms and like it's poured a couple of times, but it's not been that bad. It's actually
Yeah,
north
lucky
of us.
you. Lucky
Yeah,
you. We've got flash floods everywhere.
yeah.
Everywhere.
It's north of us right now.
We've gotten so much rain this past week, I did not realize I live in a houseboat.
I'm just happy my new garden, my brand new garden is has been watered now.
Okay, Thumbelina.
Yeah.
Thanks for sharing that.
We need to
Like we
have
couldn't
Jeremy
tell
back
from
so
your
I can talk about gardening some more.
yes, we do need to have Jeremy back because he is like the green thumb of the group for
Right.
sure. I
Right.
mean, that man looks at something and it grows. Like
Funny.
no effort needed, just looks at it and it blooms.
I just planted some seeds, so we'll see how well I do.
Speaking of Jeremy, I'm very proud of the fact that I pretty much got his last jar of homemade pepper jelly. That's right, bitches, be jealous. I got it. It's mine.
Mine's
Ha
in my
ha.
fridge right now. I'm
Mine's
very excited about it.
unopened. Mine
Mine
is
mine is
unopened.
mine is not unopened. I have used it. It's delicious. One of those things where it's like I can't not use this because I love pepper jelly, and I know Jeremy, so it's great.
Right. I was a repeat customer, so I knew what it tasted like. Now I'm just holding it for posterity.
Well, eat it, but don't let it go bad. It's an adult.
Speaking of Jeremy, we
Yeah.
have another celebrity guest of high interest on our show tonight. And our first ever reality star.
Yeah.
So, for the sake of not making him wait any longer, because I know you guys are all in suspense, let's bring him on out. You guys may know him, most well know him from The Curse of Oak Island, Mr. Todd Langseth. Hello, hello, hello. How are you
Oh,
doing?
Hey,
good. How you
Todd.
guys doing?
We are
Good.
fantastic. Happy to have you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Good to be here.
This is like one of the coolest things ever. Like, I always get super excited when people I've watched on TV come on the show because I'm like, oh, fangirl.
I said the other day, I was like, I have to really watch this. It's on my to watch list on Hulu. And I was like, I don't think I've ever watched this. But as we were talking before recording, I realized that I have watched it, and it's one of those shows where it's like you have to just keep watching it. So I have no idea why I stopped.
Yeah, you can't stop
No,
once you
it's so
start.
good.
It's like a potato chip. You can't just have one episode or one
Yeah.
season.
I mean, I know why I probably stopped,
So,
but that's not a story for this time.
so I know you have a lot more going on these days than just that. Why don't you tell us a little bit about the stuff you're working on now?
Um. Yeah. Okay. So, I started this. Created a TV show called Canadian X. It's the first of its kind in Canada of this type, where we have audience interaction. So we each episode we allow the audience to actually reach out to us and give us their opinions, rather than have people just sit home and go, "Oh no, 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 no! I would do it like this." They can actually reach out to us while our hosts are investigating, and they can make
Oh, I'm
suggestions.
sold. Where do I sign up?
There will be what we'll have at the end of each episode is what's called a roundtable meeting, where Elliot and Sarah and a couple of the other hosts, they'll be sitting at a round table in a room, kind of like the war room on Oak Island, where everybody chit chats about their findings and things.
Hmm.
Similar in that sense, but it's a round table in a much different building, and they'll take calls and live chat from people who have watched to offer their opinions and their thoughts basically on that particular episode or whatever they found or didn't find, because well, we don't know yet what they're going to find or not find. The investigation aspect of each episode's core is to deal with both old cases, cold cases, and new and ongoing cases as well. And we also allow viewers to submit their experiences directly through the website in short story, brief format, so that our researchers can look at those cases and determine whether or not it's worth investigating. If so, one of the researchers or one of the producers will reach out to that person, interview them, and possibly get them on TV as well.
See that, Stella? Now we got to move to
really
Canada.
Yeah, well, yeah, because it's a Canadian show. Unfortunately, you know, I mean, there's a lot of shows that are like it out there, European and a lot in the States, like the History Channel. I think they're like season 20 something of Ancient Aliens. I mean, it's a long running show because the demand is there for it.
Yeah.
But in Canada, we've got incredible case files of things that were never solved. People are still reporting almost on a daily basis, lights in the sky. I mean, a lot of it's Starlink. We know that. But there's other stuff that's, you know, questionable. We don't know what it is. And there's people that are willing to talk. And now we need to reach out to them as well. So that's the show will deal with that. The reason I created the show was as a fan of aliens and anything supernatural, paranormal. When I watch these shows, a lot of the times, and I'm not talking about Ancient Aliens. I think that's a really good show, but there's other examples
Yeah, I
would
love
give.
that show.
But when you listen to the eyewitnesses and they give their accounts, all of a sudden their credibility starts to go down the shitter. And that's okay. No, I don't want to watch this episode. I'll skip to the next one. So we're going to do both. Our hosts are very good at what they do. They own an organization called PPRI here in Canada. It's massive. It's backed by a lot of big organizations. Elliot Van Dusen is the guy who founded the organization. He's also the host of the show. The former RCMP corporal. So he's investigated cases on his own when he was a policeman, and he's well aware of those cases. So he has access to people who are still in the force that he communicates with all the time. And he's gung-ho to find the truth, like I am. I want to know what the truth is. Whether it's,
I love that.
Well, we have to know. We have to know. Now's the time. There's
Yeah.
a lot of stuff that's coming to light now. You know, I mean, in the States, you know, I mean, they had this big discussions where people were saying, yeah, we have aliens, we have bodies, we all this technology, and then you're left kind of going, well, wait a minute, where is it? Oh, we're hoping to find some of that stuff. Elliot's co-host, Sarah, is his wife, Sarah Van Dusen. She's a world-renowned investigator as well, but from a completely different perspective. Elliot's the guy who wants to get to the truth, no matter what. But his wife and co-host, Sarah, is the skeptic. So these two collectively, around the world, by people who know them, have referred to them as the real life Fox Mulder and Dana Scully.
I love that.
Which is fantastic.
Yeah.
When you said that, that's exactly what I thought about, was those two.
Yeah, well, it's funny because in some of their pictures they actually look like them, but I think it might have been manipulated a little bit. But it works. You know, they're awesome people. They're great on camera. The viewers are going to absolutely fall in love with them. They're just overall good people who want to do something really, really good with their skills. We've also got because there are cases of demonic possession, a few in Canada that date back years. So we.
Now that's my area of forte.
Oh yeah. Well, we've got. I'm not going to name them yet. His information will be released on the website first, but we do have the blessing of the Vatican to actually use an exorcist on some of these cases.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah. So
nice.
I'm
a demonologist by trade.
Oh yeah. You'll love this show then, because there is some demonology up here. You know, it's not like the Satanism stuff. I mean, demonology is a completely different animal than Satanism.
Yeah.
But
oh yeah.
It's exciting all around, just because the people that we put together for this really know their stuff. They're not actors. These are real life people who have careers in this field of paranormal research, and they're very good at what they do. They've gained exceptional reputations around the world. A lot of the guys that you see on the other shows that you guys have in the States there, they've actually worked together in the past. So they've developed this rapport where now they know, yeah, Canadian X could be a really good thing because of the fact that it only focuses on Canada. Are there any links to the States or Europe? We don't know yet, but most likely. And if that happens, then yeah, maybe you'll see Canadian X in Europe or somewhere in the States mingling with the people down
Travel
there.
Channel.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah.
I knew I liked him for a reason.
What's cool because like I think you think of paranormal as like one like singular event happening when it's just like that where they do kind of touch all over the place. So I wouldn't be surprised if you end up with cases or situations that end up kind of bleeding into other areas. So
Well, that's the thing. A lot of this stuff does tend to overlap.
exactly.
I mean, we've got a really good developing team of researchers on board because a lot of stuff has to be fact checked. We don't want to make a mockery of anyone or anything. We're going at this with, open hearts, open minds, but at the same time, we have to be realistic about the whole thing. I mean, the approach in any episode that we deal with has to be approached. I mean, we have to be delicate in how we do, but we are making use of some really good technology. I mean, expensive, really good new technology that hasn't been used on these other shows yet. So we've got our foot in the door at that because this technology is not available anywhere outside of where we are right here. So we have the upper hand in that right now, and that's one of the other things that's going for us.
That's awesome.
Where did your love of the paranormal and supernatural unexplained mysteries come from? Is it
Fear of the
something
dark.
you always had? Oh,
Mhm.
Fear of the Dark?
Fear of the dark
I
when
was
I
going
was
to
a
say,
kid.
is it
Yeah.
something you always had or did you develop it? But Fear of the Dark's a good place to start.
It got worse when I was about 12 years old. My mother, both my parents, they love to read. There's books everywhere in the house. And my mother had left this book on the coffee table one night called Michelle Remembers. And if you haven't heard of it, look it up. It's terrifying because at 12 years old, this is not a book I should have looked at, but I did. And I had nightmares for at least a year, maybe longer, of what I read and what I saw in these little girls' drawings in this book of this demon that she saw. She called him the devil, but it was written by her when she was older, and a priest who interjected with some sort of. There was her family was involved with this cult, and I guess she was some sort of living sacrifice. So she eventually wrote about it. But that book terrified me to the point where I was absolutely horrified by this devil guy with the horns and the scales and the bird skin. So I started having nightmares. But then I realized on after reading, different parts of the Testament and the Bible, something didn't add up to me. So I thought, well, you got the Catholics think the Jesuits are the devil, and you got the Jesuits who think the Anglicans are the devil, and you got the Jews who think everyone's the devil. And who's
I
right and
shouldn't
who's
laugh at
wrong?
that, but
Well, I
it's
mean,
funny.
it's
He's
true
not
because they all
wrong.
have the same God, but they
Mhm.
man-made rules basically over time.
Yep.
Man created rules, to take away from the original rules to accommodate man, basically. So, um, and a lot
I'm
of it
not
was
going to
based
lie.
on
The whole
fear.
time he was talking about them and the devil, I kept hearing, Bobby Boucher, this is the devil.
Yeah. But yeah, demonology, demonic possession, that kind of stuff. I mean, you take movies like The Exorcist, which I saw when I was also very young. That was a mistake because it stuck with me for years.
I think that was a rite of passage for all of us when we were kids.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's what got me into. No, I shouldn't say that because it was The Exorcist and John Carpenter, his original Halloween that got me interested in doing horror, like writing about
Mhm.
horror stuff. I've always
Oh,
had this like edge
yeah.
to write. I love to write, and I love to research now. And I did back then, but we didn't have the internet. So now it's just so much easier. If I look at a computer,
Oh
I'm not looking
yeah.
at porn. I'm researching ghosts
Mhm.
and lights in the sky and sonic waves and electromagnetism and things like that, and levitation and time travel, everything.
Smart people shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't understand most of it, so I mean that says a lot about this.
I was
But
gonna say, are you low key a genius and we never knew this?
I think
no,
it's one of those
no,
things,
no.
like, you don't have to be, like, a genius to, like, be interested in it or even to, like, understand it even a little bit. It's interesting.
Yeah, it is interesting, and the
It
thing is,
is.
the more you read, the more it's like when you watch a show, the more you see, the more you want to see. It's
Yep,
research.
yep,
The more you
yep.
know, the more you want to know. So you keep going and going and going. So now
Yeah.
I'm a physics expert. I'm just kidding. I'm not anywhere close to a physics
I was
expert.
gonna say he's our Canadian Sheldon Cooper.
No, not even close.
He's cooler Cooper.
Cooler. I wish. Um, but yeah, so Canadian X is. I mean, we're in pre-production now. We're filming a trailer in May 3rd, to highlight our hosts, introduce them, and further market the whole concept because we have a lot of interest in the show. So we're kind of just like sitting back going, okay.
You have a lot of interest from me in that show. I'm gonna need you to figure out how to put it here where I can watch it, sir.
Well, hopefully,
Or at
we
least
can,
let us be on it.
yeah, submit a story if you've had an experience, and don't bullshit.
I've got
Be
tons of them.
truthful. Yeah.
Oh yeah, we don't do the bullshitting. Like I call
No.
out all these shows all the time. I've been on
Yeah.
2 different shows, and yeah, one of them I will definitely say was not anywhere near what it should have been.
Yeah. Well, it never is. I mean, you go into different shows, with certain expectations, and there's always something that just, kind of makes you go, "Oh, okay, that's all
Yeah.
right. Well, I'm here."
Yeah.
I mean, I just felt like a lot of it was staged more so than it was presenting itself to be a reality show, but a lot of it was staged. And the bad part is some of it you could tell they staged, but
Yeah.
it was
Well,
one of those shows where I could have handed them a stick out of the backyard and they'd have been like, "Oh, it's haunted." Like
yeah.
the
Well, I
stick
mean,
was not haunted, guys.
the thing with reality TV is, everybody wants to see the reality aspect. The problem
Mhm.
is reality doesn't create an audience.
Exactly.
Drama creates an
Right.
audience. So the more drama that you have
I
infused
mean,
into
hell,
the
look at Teen
reality
Mom. They've been on for
aspect,
20 years now.
which one's that? Which
Oh,
one?
Teen Mom. They've been on for 20 years now on MTV from
So they're not teens
15
anymore.
different series. No, now their kids are
Middle-aged moms.
teenagers. But they're still going strong because they're full of drama.
Yeah, exactly. That's what keeps the driving
Yeah.
is the drama. So they'll put the twists in there. It's still unscripted for the most part. If it says it's unscripted, it's definitely unscripted. But you do have to, in shows like that, for example, you have to recreate something. So then it becomes a little bit scripted because you've got to rework it for the camera,
Mhm.
for the viewer, to
Mhm.
keep them hooked so that they come back for the next episode. I mean, that's a given with any show. Um, Plus, everyone's mic'd. There's lights everywhere for the most part, unless you're outside. But yeah, I mean, drama is a key selling point in anything that you see on TV now. I mean, that's
Absolutely.
anything you watch has drama, and it has to.
Yeah. Otherwise,
Yeah.
nobody would watch it because it would be boring.
It would be boring. It would be
yeah.
very boring. So you have to throw that flavor into it and just stir things up a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean,
But
that
it
kind of
works.
goes to the simple saying, without chaos there would be no peace. You would be tired if everything
Yeah.
was perfect all the time.
Yeah.
It would be a very boring life.
Yeah, and then the flip on that is we'd be so bored, we'd look for something to do, and we'd probably end up killing each other. So
Yeah. That's true.
out of
Good
boredom.
good thing we're not bored all the time. I don't know. I've never really been a fan of reality TV for that reason because it comes off as not actually what's happening.
Yeah.
And it's just far too dramatic for me, and I don't understand people's fascination with it because it's
Yeah.
not real life.
No,
It's
it's
not
not.
like
but to some people, depending on the show, like a show like Teen Mom, I would never watch. It just doesn't. The
Right.
title doesn't appeal to me. Um,
Me either.
I don't even watch Oak Island, believe it or not.
No. Oh
No,
wow.
I've never seen an episode. Um,
I don't watch
certain
myself on
shows,
TV either, so I get it.
yeah, well, you look in the mirror and you go, "Ugh," that's what people are gonna see.
Like, here's what I would change about myself.
Exactly.
I don't know. So
You
like
see all the
Oak
flaws
Island,
that you never noticed.
Yeah,
yeah. Like
oh,
Oak
we're
Island is at
always,
least interesting, and all the stuff you see, like Ancient Aliens and stuff. Well, I don't know that that's necessarily reality TV shows. It's more like docuseries, I guess.
yeah,
All that stuff is really interesting to me, but it's like it has a point.
yeah.
Like,
Yeah, as long as it's a point, then the point that
hmm
you as a viewer find, that's the hook for you, because everybody's got a little bit of a different, like everything that we
absolutely.
watch, entertainment has to have a hook.
Hmm
The good thing about reality, unscripted, docu-series, things like that, is there's a little hook in there for everybody. That's what brings everybody into it, because
Right.
everybody will watch it for a different reason. Um, what we want to do with Canadian X is we want to take the Canadian audience and hopefully the American audience, if we can, work a production together with them, um, and show that Canada does have a darker side, a very mysterious side.
hmm
I haven't been through all the case files yet. In fact, I've been through very few. I rely on the researchers and the hosts, Elliot and his wife primarily, and Kim Moser is also involved in this as well. Um, Another familiar face. Um, like I said, they're very good at what they do, but they're planning this in such a way that it will appeal to everybody. And there probably will be a little bit of drama in there because we have to,
hmm You have to, yeah.
without going to the point where it looks fake, because that's not
Right.
what we want. The reason I developed the series is because I don't want anything fake in here, which is why ultimately the goal of each episode is to get to the root of the issue, find out the truth, the facts, and if it's bullshit, we're going to make it known that it's bullshit, and we can wipe our hands of that and move
Yeah.
on.
He's the
I love that.
Canadian Mythbuster.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Aren't the Mythbusters also Canadian?
Uh,
I thought the
Adam,
one was from Florida.
Oh,
I
maybe
don't
not.
know. I used to watch that show though, just because it was fun, and
It
that
is
was the
fun.
hook. That was
Yeah.
the major hook, was that it was fun. It was
Yeah.
entertaining. You learned something from it.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah,
yeah,
I love the show, but I couldn't tell you much about the host. No lie. I'm not even going to try because I know how people like to come for us in the comments when we're wrong.
Nah, I would know them. I thought they were Canadian, but I could be, obviously way off. I don't
I
know.
could be wrong. I thought that maybe they were like stationed in Florida or something because every like where they were was always like tropical looking to me, but I could be wrong. I'm probably
yeah.
wrong. I'm probably wrong, guys. Just saying. It's a known fact that Rebel is wrong more than she's right with these statistics, okay? Just saying.
Yeah, I don't know. Actually, you said something that I think people need to hear is, especially here in the States, is that Canada has a dark side, because I think, stereotypically we never think of Canada as being like a dark place. Because personally, every time I hear like a true crime story that has come out of Canada, I'm so surprised.
Yeah, they're like,
Um,
whoa, man, those people
right.
do that.
Like, right.
Yeah,
Aren't you guys nice in Canada?
yeah.
So
Well,
I think that that's really interesting that you're highlighting that.
Something other than the moose killed them?
actually, yeah. I mean, that's legit. If you're driving, a quarter-ton pickup truck and you hit a moose, the moose has got a better
Gonna win.
chance of walking away than you do.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, Canada does have a very dark side to it, very mysterious. There's a lot that has happened over the years, a lot of history here that we're going to
Yep.
dig into and resurrect. And we're going to put a face to that, and we're going to put facts to that as well. And like I say, by the end of the episode, we'll know if it's true
Yeah.
or if it's false.
Yeah.
So we're taking a little bit of an edge from another show that used to exist out of the States. I forget his name. He's a former FBI agent. Brian, I think his name was, or no, Ben. Ben was his first name. I can't remember his last name. He had a show called Fact or Faked.
Hmm.
And it was interesting because I loved that concept, and I don't know
Sounds
what
like
happened to
Beyond
the show.
Belief too.
Yeah, kind of, yeah. But Fact or Faked was it was an awesome
That's
show
the one I grew up
because
on.
Fact or Faked. The
I
factor,
watched both, but I watched
okay,
Beyond Belief from the beginning, and
yeah,
I caught bits and pieces of Fact or Faked.
The
okay.
gentleman's name is Ben Hansen. I looked it up.
That's it, Ben Hansen. He's
Ben.
also a very good friend of Elliot's, the key
Oh,
host of the
cool.
show.
Yeah.
Yeah, they talk a lot. So they bouncy.
Oh, that's cool.
It's I liked the concept because I knew by the end of each episode we're gonna know the truth, regardless.
Yeah, absolutely. Like no matter what
So
that means.
yeah, well, I just like I say earlier, it's when I watch these show and I still watch them, but I'll skip
Hmm.
an episode based on somebody's eyewitness testimony. If I get, if they say certain things a certain way or it just sounds fake, I'm just, okay, you're full of it. I don't need to hear any more. Let me
Yeah.
go and research it myself. Maybe I'll get a different conclusion. But if you build something up here and then you throw in an eyewitness who's all over the place,
Hmm.
the credibility's gone, man. It's lost.
Absolutely.
So that's what we're
Yeah.
going to try to avoid.
Yeah. I think that's awesome that you guys have such a focus on, not just telling a story for the sake of telling a story, but the truth.
Yeah,
Because there's a lot of weight in that too, like just making sure that the truth comes out again, no matter what that means.
yeah,
Like, yeah, I think that's great.
yeah,
I really like shows like that too, like Fact or Faked, and I liked um I liked how Beyond Belief was set up too, where they told you at the end which ones were true and which ones they
yeah,
fictionalized. The only
yeah,
thing I didn't like was like when they told you the stories that were true, they didn't give you the true story behind them.
yeah,
Like I would have liked to know like what the reports that they had said, or something that said, "Hey, this is a newspaper clipping saying that this was the true story and this was the inspiration."
hmm yeah. Well, a lot of stuff comes out of rumor as well, and you know, you know what they say. I mean, there's an ounce of truth to all the rumor. So I mean, like even in cases where there's investigations going on, for like hauntings in the cemetery or a house or a possession, or you know, there's got to be an ounce of truth. There's something caused the story to grow.
Hmm.
So going back and trying rip to rip the story down to its roots, maybe that's a way that you can determine fact or fiction,
Yeah.
so but I have nothing but the utmost in faith in our hosts and our researchers busy right now getting things ready for season one, because the show hasn't been released yet. um, we've got some interesting cases, and I think one of the first cases is happening in Newfoundland, Bell Island. Goes back to the 70s. It was called the Bell Island Boom, and to this day, I mean, decades later, nobody knows what happened. And police force was involved. I think the Navy actually got involved. People were, statements all over the place, but nothing ever concrete was put together. So I think that's our premiere episode. I could be wrong, but either way,
So
it'll be interesting.
so when you guys are filming, okay, I'm going to try and hopefully this makes sense. So when you guys are filming for locations, are you, cuz like I know Canada's obviously a very vast area. Are you kind of filming in sections, or are you just going sporadically wherever the wind takes you for filming?
Initially, we kind of said, "Hey, well, we'll just go here, here, and here." But then, production cost and value, and we do have to save money
That's what I was
here and
saying.
there.
Yeah.
So it's through. I know through season one, um, they've set it up so that um, we can go kind of like skipping in a straight line from one episode to the next for
That
us.
makes
So
sense. That makes
starting in
sense.
Newfoundland is way over there, and then we're going to trek back this way and end up back home, kind of thing. But I mean, Canada is a very big country, so when you're looking coast to coast, if there's an episode that happens today in Prince Edward Island, and the next episode happens in BC, which is on the other end of the country, on the other coast. Um, yeah, that's probably not going to air for a bit until we manage to make our way over there. Unless production value, um, if the money allows us to do that, then we'll do it. Anyway, fly over there, drive over there. I mean, this could be trekking through parts of the country that some of us haven't even seen before. Because I haven't seen the whole country of Canada. I've been to different places, but I've never been to BC, and I'd love to see it. So
That's what I like about the traveling aspects.
Yeah, getting to see everything. That
getting to see new places.
Yeah, and learning stuff along the way.
Oh yeah, I'm that one that pulls over to them little historical signs on the side of the road just to read them and take pictures.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a history buff, so like I'm into that stuff.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah.
And like I plan road trips specifically for sites like that.
Mm-hmm. Well, the show's definitely going to have a lot to display and exploit. There are a lot more. When I went into this, when I started just putting this whole thing together, the research that I did on my own before I even spoke to anybody, like Elliot and the other producers and Donna Davies, the other executive producer, I started doing my own research, and I realized, holy crap, there's a lot of stuff that's happened in this guy. I can't believe it. And it dates back. It goes way back. Mm-hmm. So I thought, man, maybe I'm making the right decision, because I was fearful in the beginning that Canada wouldn't have enough content to actually make a show out of this. But yeah, it's insane how many files. And then I met Elliot, the former RCMP officer. Is like, oh, we've got files that are going to keep us going for a long time. So the confidence is there now that we can make this work. And I think people are going to love it.
It sounds amazing, honestly. Like that is such a cool concept for a show.
Yeah.
Hopefully we
I'm so sad we're not going to be able to watch it.
I was going to say, hopefully we can at least get it like on a streaming service down here. Like maybe they'll buy it from you so that we can or give you money to show it, or however that works, so we can binge it.
Well, that's the plan. That's the plan, is to make it as widespread as we can, because Canada it's a beautiful country as well. There's some
I would love to know more about Canada. Like this is a great way to learn about it too.
Yeah, it is.
We do know distributors.
Yeah. Well, streaming, we'll make it happen.
It'll happen. It'll happen. We're going to manifest that for you too.
We know people. We know people that can get him on Tubi.
That's true. That's true. That's true. And
Tubi's
honestly,
huge here.
Tubi.
Yeah, it's pretty big in Canada.
And Prime.
Well. Yeah. Prime as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
We have connections. Hit me up. I got you, man.
Do what we can.
I got a guy for everything. I'm telling you, I got a guy for everything.
She really does. She really does.
That's good. That's good.
And we actually have a lot of guys in common. He knows half of the guys I know, so it's okay.
Awesome.
We got this.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Teamwork. That's how it works.
Yeah.
We're
doing it for selfish reasons,
all by ourselves.
Yeah. We're selfishly
this has nothing to do with you. It's strictly for selfish purposes.
It's mutually beneficial.
Yeah, there you go. Mutually beneficial.
Mutually beneficial.
Yeah, sure, okay. Yeah, we'll go with that. I like that. Yeah, sure, okay, we'll go with that. It's mutually beneficial for my selfish reasons.
It's a win-win. Mm-hmm. How old is the oldest case you guys are working on in season 1? Obviously, you don't give us pieces about it.
In season 1, I think the oldest case dates back to. I'd have to pull up the records. I'm going to go on a guess. I could be wrong here. I'm not the only one that's actually producing this, but I think the oldest case goes back to the early 1800s.
Oh wow! How do you get accounts of
what
the
Jack the Ripper?
It's history. It's very, very well prepared and well organized history that's been put together over the years, that has been retained and well cared for in the archives here that we have access to. So this particular case, I believe it originated, or it happened in a town called Amherst here in Nova Scotia.
Mm-hmm.
About poltergeist.
Oh.
So I have this thing with poltergeists. I believe in them just because I think we've all, kind of walked into a room and something has moved, and it makes you wonder.
Mm-hmm.
Was it the wind? Did I bump something? But you never really know. So I mean, is there a presence around you at all times, or does it come fleeting and sneaking up on you? And in playing, because poltergeists, what I know about poltergeists, is they're very playful in the beginning.
Mhm.
They start off very innocent to gain some trust,
Mhm.
and to make it seem harmless. But then once once it becomes aware that you're in tune with it, then it starts to get a little bit more uh, dangerous, I guess, because some poltergeist cases are pretty wicked, they're pretty brutal. This particular one in Amherst lasted for years, and it involved a young girl at the time who basically suffered with this presence around her most of her life. Um, it's a case that I don't know all the specifics. I remember looking into it and reaching out to the mayor of Amherst because I know he had given some statements recently in the last couple of years, which is why I got interested, did some research, found out how far back this thing went, and I thought, this is interesting because it's also unsolved but well documented. So when you've got clergy and you've got people of authority, mayors, policemen, doctors, basically giving the same statements that, we don't know what it was. Something moved. She looked like, a different person, and it scared the hell out of us. That's worth investigating.
Yes, absolutely.
So it's
Oh, yeah.
it's definitely a case
If
for
I
us.
remember correctly, now I've studied poltergeist, but not super in depth because I haven't really come across them much in my, time in the field. But if I remember correctly, aren't poltergeists? They're different from spirits. They're not actual spirits. They're like created by the mind as like a response to severe stress or trauma.
Yeah, it's a manifestation of those
Yeah.
things. But it also, according to some legends, and this is actually highlighted in the movie Poltergeist, where death is still present. Bodies are still there. So the Amherst thing, we think it might be something to do with a cemetery. Properties being built on top of cemeteries where they moved headstones, just like in the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Moved the headstones but left the bodies. It's going to cause some problems because we're bioelectric. When our body dies, the soul leaves the body. But I mean, what is the soul but bioelectric? It's electricity. You can't kill electricity. It only takes another form. When you turn off a light, the light's gone, but the electrical current is still there.
Mhm.
It manifests in different ways. Well, a poltergeist is kind of an interactive thing like that, So there's a lot of electrical activity, and this is one of the things that I had read in the reports from Amherst, was that there was a lot of electrical anomalies.
Mhm.
And this goes back to the early 1800s. I think it's the early 1800s. Don't quote me on that because I'm probably wrong, but I'm almost sure that that's how far back it goes. But a poltergeist manifests electrically as well. It's one of the more common things. Flickering lights,
Mhm.
waves of electricity that the body can feel when your hair stands up. It's a case that
It's like static electricity.
static, yeah.
Mhm.
When, yeah, you can feel your hair standing up. That's a form of electricity. It's a current, but it's also a reaction in your body which is generated by electricity because we're electric. We're like batteries, basically.
Yeah.
It'll be an
Yeah.
interesting case, that's for sure.
Yeah. That's actually really cool. And I always say, like, the soul thing, like, I always say, like, I always feel like we leave energy signatures behind in different places in different ways. So it's very interesting that you said that because it kind of aligns with what my thoughts were on it.
Mhm.
Like, it's not necessarily a spirit always, but sometimes it's just like that energy signature.
It's an energy signature, yeah. And a lot of some of the texts that I read, I didn't research that case a lot. It's here printed out. I haven't really read much of it, but the stuff that I did read was that um, the electrical currents are still manifesting now to this day
Mhm.
in this little town. And that's why I wanted to speak to the mayor, because he had made a statement on some website, and I didn't make a note of the website. I'll have to go back and research it again. But he was commenting on how there was always an issue with electrical current manifesting in this particular area, and that's where the house was where this girl lived.
Oh.
So I guess it latched on to her in a certain way. Yeah.
Hmm.
But it'll come out
Yeah.
in the
So
episode.
aside from poltergeists, I think they say that there are 3 different types of actual hauntings aside from poltergeists, because poltergeists, like he said, are separate from basically the
Right.
other entities.
Mhm.
But I think residential hauntings kind of go hand in hand with poltergeists. Not that they're the same entity, but like that same energy, that electricity that he's talking about kind of lingers and plays over and over again
Mhm.
in a loop. That's why investigators can get certain evidence from those hauntings, but they're not intelligent responses. They
Mhm.
just tell you what happened over and over and over again because they're stuck in that time loop.
Yeah,
And
the
then they
residue.
have, yeah. And then they have what they call demonic hauntings. Obviously, you're
Mhm.
dealing with demonic entities, and we all know the classic signs of those. But then you
Mhm.
have the intelligent human hauntings that actually speak in response to what you're asking it. So, like, if you ask, "Are you here?" They'll say yes. You'll say, "Who are you?" They'll answer their name. What do you want? They'll tell you what they want. They're not just answering based on how they died or what they did in life. They're actually answering you word for word in
Mhm.
response to your questions.
Yeah.
So those are always the different things that fascinate me about hauntings, is like I always want to dive deeper into, the energy that gets left behind when we pass on.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I like the concept of white noise. That's always kind of been like a really fascinating thing to me, is because there are lots of equipments out there that have existed for a while, and I know our hosts have their hands on. Like I said, they've got some fantastic equipment, new equipment um, that can really absorb white noise and find those little beeps and hisses and blips and things in there and reconstruct them maybe to form words, which is what, like, I guess the older versions of this equipment would be like an Oculus or something that would, you would ask a question and you
Yeah.
would hear it say something, but was it a word or was it just something in the wall or was it a rat
Yeah.
in the
Right.
corner? You know, we want to go deeper than that and find what made that noise and where it originated from. And with you can do that. With an Oculus, not so much, because an Oculus is only going to give you that one response, that one sound.
And the other thing I don't like about those is like they use radio frequencies, so you're
Yeah,
constantly hearing words that have nothing to do with what you're asking or
Mhm.
saying,
yeah.
but it kind of comes through as interference. So like you don't know if you're actually talking to a spirit or
Mhm.
if it's just a
Mhm.
radio interference from the device itself.
Yeah, that's
Although
exactly the type of
we should
scenario
show
we
him
want to
Chris's
avoid.
app.
Oh yeah.
So we had a guest on a couple weeks ago, and he actually designed his own app around that to avoid those same things. So
Mhm.
now his app, when you turn it on, you can ask questions, and then it will text you the response and everything from the
Yeah.
ghost. It's
It
it's
shows
really
up like a
cool.
text message in the app.
Oh, yeah.
Um, yeah, it's actually really neat. It's a SPI, I think is what it's called.
Is it available
Yeah,
for download?
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's like 14.99, I think, is what we paid
Okay.
for it.
But it's only a one time. It's not like a
Yeah, it's
subscription.
not.
It's just a
Yeah.
one time fee.
Okay.
Yeah. It's actually really neat, and I did 2 sessions. I actually sent them to Rebel. Um,
She did.
the first
She
one I
sends
go,
Rebel everything.
yeah, we talk all the time. And, I'm just like, "Is there someone here?" And I got a yes, and, "Are you okay?" And I get no, and it literally shows up just like a text message, like I'm texting someone.
Yeah, and it
Um,
doesn't have the white noise Oculus
mm-mm,
has. You just turn it on, it's quiet, and
it's quiet.
it's always in EVP mode.
Mhm.
So
Yep.
it's definitely cool and definitely
Yeah.
revolutionary.
Yeah.
If you guys can send me the link to that, I'd love to check it out
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
if
for
I can.
sure.
Yeah. Well, and even at one point I was like, I said something and it was like no response detected. So it's not like you get something every time. So it's interesting because it also doesn't come off like it's fake or anything like that. It's literally like you're not talking to AI or anything like that. It is literally just reading what is
Yeah,
coming back at you.
Okay.
I can send it to you right now
Yeah. It was actually really
while
cool.
I'm thinking about it.
Yeah.
There you go. You should get it right now. I have iPhone, so you should be able to download it straight away if you have iPhone. But
Yeah.
I think it's also available on the Google Play Store too.
I believe so. I think he said it's available all across the board.
Yeah, yeah, I got it.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Shout out to Chris Mendes.
Yeah. Yeah. He's really cool too. Like he's such a cool human. He has a lot of interesting experience with paranormal as well. So
Mhm.
He's
yeah.
he's just like Todd. Like I could talk to you forever. You're so interesting to me.
Oh, I'd bore you. Don't worry, I would bore you.
Man, we're at like 48 minutes almost and haven't even hit the tip of the iceberg of what you're capable of. Like,
no.
we just spent 48 minutes talking about like Canadian X, and we haven't
Was
even
just
talked about any other projects.
Oh, that's
it's
okay
just
with me. That Canadian X is my baby because I've always wanted to do a show like that. So now it's happening. It's a good feeling for that one.
You're like a kid in a candy store on Christmas.
I am. Yeah.
well, I love the idea of the show. It's such a cool idea because you're taking a different approach and you're, getting feedback, like
Mhm.
live feedback from people, which I think is amazing. And I don't think that there's a lot of
Yeah.
market for that. So you're actually hearing people and hearing their accounts, and you're either saying, yes, we can see how this is true, or I feel like this might need to be debunked or whatever.
Mhm. Yeah.
Like, I think that that's awesome.
And I kind of like that. I really like that approach that you're taking. The fact that you're like anti faking it,
Yes.
like you understand that there has to be a certain level of drama to keep the
Yeah.
viewer
Mhm.
interest, but you also understand that like you're not going to fake anything to do that.
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
I definitely like your moral standing there because most people are just about the money. They don't care about getting any messages out there or really bringing history to life or actually being respectful of the industry. They just want whatever cash flow they can get from it and move on to the
Right.
next.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
Rebo, I like what you just said too when you said bringing history to life, because I really feel like that's kind of what you're doing here. Is you're making it relevant
Mhm.
and bringing those cases to the people that maybe haven't heard about them, that may live in those areas or may just know those areas that you're visiting. So I think that's cool, and that's a really great way to put it.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, we're anxious to do it not only for the research aspect or the investigation aspect. Um, it is bringing history back. For the older cases. It's
Mhm.
not everybody knows about the poltergeist from Amherst. Not everybody is aware of it. And there was one in New Brunswick as well. So there's two provinces that have poltergeist activity that had occurred. We're going to bring it up, and we're going to make sure that people are aware of it and they understand it. And if it happened, it happened, and we can prove it. Great. If not, we debunk it.
Yeah.
That's I just don't like anything that's up in the air. I don't want to watch anything and go, okay, I don't have any answers though. You know what I mean? Like I want the answers.
Right.
We all do.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's why
And
we all are so interested in the subject.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Rebel.
yeah, I was basically gonna reiterate what you said, but kind of add a little to it. Like in the field of the paranormal, if you're not a history buff, you're not gonna get much out of being a ghost
Yeah.
hunter
Yeah.
Mhm.
because you're not gonna understand the histories of the places that you're investigating.
Or the
You're not
people.
gonna understand the
Yeah.
people that you're trying to communicate with. So you're basically the blind leading the blind at that point,
Mhm.
and it's just
Mhm.
not a good scenario. So that's why, like, almost every ghost hunter you talk to, they're all huge history
It's like, oh, I also love
buffs, and
history.
most of them
Yeah.
are, yeah, they're some form of historian somewhere.
Yeah.
Even like people like Rick Harrison from Pawn Stars,
Yeah.
they are
Mhm.
huge in history and could tell you just about anything you need to know because they have to know to be able to buy and sell those
Mhm.
products from those
Yeah.
eras,
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're ripping somebody off without knowing
Exactly.
all the
Exactly.
details. So we don't want to cheat anybody. We don't want to rip anybody off. We want them to be entertained. We want them to be educated. And we want them to be relieved to know the truth,
Yeah.
regardless.
I'm
Yeah.
I mean, just like the people that are all up in a tizzy now about certain statues and things. Don't get me wrong, I understand where they're coming from, but you can't rewrite history. It happened. You just
Mhm.
have to accept it, learn from it, and move on to make sure you never repeat it. That's what it's there
Exactly.
for. But like
Yeah.
I understand them getting angry and offended by people glorifying people that really probably shouldn't be.
Yeah. Well, I
Even
Mhm.
think that's
Abraham
that's it
Lincoln
right there.
wasn't a saint.
No.
Yeah.
Abraham
No.
Lincoln, yes, he freed the slaves, but he also committed genocide against the Native Americans and
Well,
used the
he freed
Emancipation
the
Proclamation to
slaves.
hide it.
Hold on, but he freed and I love Abe Lincoln too, but like he freed the slaves, but he didn't free the slaves to free the slaves. He freed the slaves because he wanted to send them back to Africa. They have been here at that point. They had
Yeah,
been here for so long that was, and either way, they belong here too. Like it just that after I learned that
but
piece, I was
like,
like, I don't like this history anymore. Like history just pisses me off
but
now,
and
and it's supposed to.
what people also don't realize about him freeing the slaves was they had nothing when they were
Mhm.
freed. Their master, as
Mhm.
horrible as those living conditions were, they provided their food, their comfort, their shelter, their
There was no
clothes,
comfort
everything.
though. That's the problem. There was it
Yeah.
that yeah. That's a whole thing.
But I
Like
mean, when I
they
say comfort, I
provided
mean
for
it's
them, but
yes,
they were in a
they
small
had
hut sleeping on top of each other with no bathroom and
yeah,
no way to,
yeah, for
no
sure.
no fresh clothes, no laundry, no bath, things like that. So it's like I know what you mean, but still.
Yeah.
But they
Yeah,
weren't
I mean, I'm not
provided
saying it was
for.
like
You're
the
sending
Hilton, but they had some kind of rations to stay alive.
Mhm.
Once they were freed, they had nowhere to go and
it was
nothing to
literally bare
do.
minimum. And that's the thing. They were not provided for. It's there was no offering of like goodwill to be like, not only are we going to free you, but now we're going to give this plot of land to your community so that you can build, and here's some money so you can, provide for yourselves and get your footing. And I think that's where
Yeah.
America kind of went wrong with that. But that's a whole tangent I could go on.
And then the same people that basically freed them up north got into an uproar because they were the ones coming up and taking all of their jobs because they would do it a lot cheaper than the white northerners would. So
Yeah.
then it was all a whole nother big fiasco with that. So like I feel like these days people just pick and choose which parts of history they want to like.
I
You
don't
know?
really like any of it. I'm kind of just mad at everybody.
Exactly. I don't really like history either. But like that's
No,
why
well,
it's
so like you say that, like I love history, but the more I learn, the angrier I get about it. And but that's as for the human rights aspect of
exactly.
history.
That's kind of where I'm at with it. You're just better with
Yeah.
words than me cuz I'm more blunt when I talk. So like what I say and what I mean are usually two different things. It just comes out the way it comes out.
But it's also to say
But
I'll go to
like
some place like Harper's Ferry, which is one of my favorite places. Like I'll go to Harper's Ferry and you can see how the world existed before our time, and you stand in the same places like Thomas Jefferson stood. Was he a great guy? Absolutely not. However, you're seeing the exact thing that he saw, and that's amazing.
well, yeah. But the point I was getting at with
Sorry.
people picking and choosing which parts they want to apply, they're like, yeah, he did this great thing, but we're going to pretend we didn't see all this bad shit over here, though.
Exactly. Exactly.
They pick and choose which parts they want to like. And
Yeah.
I don't agree with that. Either you take it all or you take none.
Agreed.
That's your choice. But you can't pick and choose which parts you like.
Agreed. I heard somebody say one time, if history doesn't piss you off, then you're not learning the right history. And I was like, oh, so
Exactly.
on point. So on point. Sorry, Todd.
Yeah.
This
That's okay.
Yeah.
welcome to
I warned
Thriving in
him
Chaos.
ahead of time. Yeah, welcome to Thriving in Chaos. This is exactly what I warned you about, where we start off somewhere and end up way out in left field.
Record
That's
time, though, we did talk about Canadian X almost the entire time. So just
Yeah,
saying,
sorry
record
about that.
time. Huh?
Sorry about
We're
that.
getting better at
Oh,
staying
no,
on
I love
topic,
that.
Stella.
I know. I was just saying that's record time. Like normally we go out, like hit, we go on
5
side quests
seconds.
like
5 seconds
really
tops. As
quickly.
soon as we introduce the guest and they come on, we're way out here in the outfield. Like, it doesn't take long. So the fact that we got almost an entire episode about Canadian X under our belt, we really did something here. It
Well,
means
that's
our
what I really
ADHD is
wanted to
getting
hear
under
about.
control.
Thank you, Adderall. Um, that's
And Todd for being so
Yeah.
interesting. He kept us on topic.
well, but I also think that like because you have so many different aspects of the show, it's also helpful because we can kind of just cover a bunch of things, and it's what I was interested in. So you
Good. Well, then
mentioned
it
it, and I
worked
was
out
like,
well.
yeah, yeah, it's great. I'm so excited for it. I
Yeah,
really
we
hope
don't
it makes
always
its
go
way
for the
trickles down to our neck of the woods.
Yeah, well, that
for sure.
go as big as we can. I mean, it started
Yeah.
out, as a little teeny idea, and then it just literally exploded in a week. In a week,
Oh my God, I
it
love
went
that.
huge, and then it's just been developing from there.
Have you ever read the book? It's actually a children's book. It's what do you do with an idea?
Um, no, but I think I've heard of it.
Yeah, it's a really great book, and there's a couple kids books that I loved for my kids. I have 2 kids, that I loved to read to my kids, and that's one of them. It's like, what do you do with an idea? And it's like, it's exactly what you said. It starts as this like little bean in your
Mhm.
brain, and then it just slowly grows and grows until you can't not pay attention to it. And then it like how it grows, and then it's this big beautiful thing, and that's exactly I think what happened here is it's you kind of see the manifestation of this tiny little idea kind of blow into something that's amazing.
Well, it's funny because I was literally just taking a break from writing another script, and I went and lay down on the sofa and I put the TV on, and there was some ghost hunting show on there, and I was watching it purely for the entertainment because I just within the first 10 seconds I knew this show is gonna suck. Um, and it was entertaining mildly, but it was just so obviously, I wouldn't say scripted, just really poorly executed to the point where I just thought, I can't believe this. If this can get on TV, I can get a show similar to this on TV. I just got to
Yeah.
take a little more pride in doing it. So I put my script on the side and I started playing with an idea. And I basically took everything that I disliked about these different other shows. And then I wrote down in list format what I wanted, what I would like to see in a show, and what I think other people would prefer and like to see. And I came up with the concept of Canadian X. And I thought, well, we have some shows in Canada that kind of do this, but they don't do it to this extent.
Mhm.
They certainly don't involve audience interaction, that's a big bold step.
Mhm.
We have to be gentle and careful with that, but we're going to make it work. And I think it's something that the whole country, at least to start, is going to enjoy.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's
See
what you
that?
said right
Life's
there
what
too, the
happens when you're
passion.
busy making plans.
Yeah. 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 That happened to me today. Life. But it's the passion really that I think you can kind of see behind your project that like I think people can appreciate and they'll be able to tell when they see the show exactly how much love you have behind it.
Oh yeah.
Well,
He's got the
I,
same look in his eyes for his show that we got for Thriving in Chaos.
and how's that working out for you?
Yeah.
Really well, right?
I mean, we
Exactly.
got you on the show, so toot toot.
Thank you. I think it's a passion and it's a drive, and it's that desire to want to make it work, and then finding the right people, which it only took me a couple of days to track down Elliot. And it's funny because I wasn't even looking for Elliot. I was looking for somebody else, and he put me in touch. And then I got back to him and I said, "Wait a minute! I just checked out your website." I said, "You're pretty well known, and you've been doing this thing for years, um, and everybody knows who you are." I said, "Here's an idea for you." So I bounced it off him, and we ended up putting something together. And then we got more people involved, and we got some more production members involved, and we got his wife involved because when I found out she was a skeptic, I thought, "Oh, that's perfect. We need a skeptic on the show to represent the viewers."
Every
So
good
that's
show
why
has to have one.
yeah. Well,
Yeah.
she's like I say, she's the Dana Scully to the Fox Mulder. You know,
Yeah.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
the chemistry between these two won't be fake because it's who they are. It's what
Mhm.
they do. So we're just going to see it televised, and we're going to see them in action, and I think that's absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah. That's fantastic. I love that.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
when's
I
it
think
debuting? Just saying.
I can't tell you that yet. I can't put a date
Damn.
on it yet. We're still working on a lot of pre-production right now.
Oh yeah.
We initially started with 6 episodes, which is the standard when you do a series like this. It's always 6 episodes. That's all they want. And then we got hit with, hey, can you give us 18 episodes? And we kind of freaked out and said, yeah, okay, we'll put 18 episodes together. So we spent
I'm on
about,
my
really
way. Vroom, vroom.
yeah,
that's really positive though.
it is very positive. That's why
Yeah.
we didn't hesitate. We got to work,
Absolutely.
and Elliot did an awful lot of work on this himself, to piece together a lot of files that we could work with, to keep us in that straight line instead of hopping all over the country.
Yeah.
He's developed it in such a way that we can go here and then here and then here and then here and then, oh, we'll come all the way back here, and look at that, we're home. So for the first season, it's basically a round trip, you know, across a few provinces. That's it. With
Around
a
the
lot of
world in 80
really,
days.
yeah. We'll do Canada in 6 days, but yeah, a lot of these, every single one of these episodes that we're coming up with is gonna blow people's minds.
I love that so much.
I really love how highly he talks about everyone else on the project as well.
Absolutely. Yes.
Like he hasn't been like, oh, it's me. It's all about me. Me. He's like, no,
Oh,
these guys, this guy, you want to talk to this guy over here? This guy did this. The janitor, let's give him a round of applause.
no, you won't even see me, and if you do, it'll just be me walking by a set when I'm not supposed to be, because it's about Elliot and Sarah and Kim and Daryl. It's
And we need them on this show too.
I would, I can definitely put you in touch with
Yeah.
Elliot and Sarah, and possibly Daryl's
Yes.
a little bit hard to reach sometimes, but he's exceptional. But Elliot,
I want them all. I'm
okay,
greedy.
I'll reach out to Elliot later, and I'll shoot him a text, and
Yeah.
I want to
I'll let him.
promote their products specifically for selfish reasons.
Sure. Well, he can tell you all about PPRI as well. It's the
Yeah, that
company
would be
that
great too.
founded. Yeah, it'll give you. He can tell you about the equipment. That's, well, some of the equipment. Some of it is very secret because nobody else has this
Absolutely.
equipment, and this is fresh to us. So there are some disclaimers and some maybe copyright issues, but there's definitely some stuff that we can, divulge at this point, in the game. But there is a lot of secrecy around a lot of stuff, like, the whole Amherst thing. I shouldn't have brought it up. It's in the air now, but it's definitely something that we're going to do. I can't tell you which episode, but Elliot, Elliot's very good at this sort of thing. He's, like I say, he's very, very well respected in the industry, along with his wife, who's also an investigator, parapsychologist. Um, yeah, I think you guys talking to
Oh,
him,
we
that
love
would be
those.
fantastic as well.
Yeah.
It's their
Yeah, we're
faces you're going
definitely
to see.
interested if he wants to do it.
Hmm.
Yeah.
We would
I'm
love to
sure he'd
have
be
them.
up to it. Yeah, absolutely. I'll send him a text after, and I'll mention this to him, and then I'll get you guys hooked up.
Yeah. That'd be great.
Yay! Yay! Oh, damn, that hour went way too quick.
It
Anybody
always
want to go
does.
for round two? I know, I could talk to him forever. I'm so sad. We have to have you back on.
Yeah, anytime.
Yeah.
Anytime.
Thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us too. Because
Well, thanks guys for
Yes,
having me. I
especially
appreciate
because,
it.
yeah.
yeah, we really appreciate you, especially since you don't do these often. I feel so honored to be one of the few.
Well, I'm honored to be on the show. I mean, this was fun. I was looking forward to it. I've already told everybody that this was going to happen. So once
Oh,
it's
great.
all, yeah. Well, because I'm promoting Canadian X as much as I can right now, because
Absolutely.
it's such a big deal, and it happens so quickly.
Yeah.
Normally it doesn't happen this fast. So the people that I got involved, it's all about them. I'm the guy in the back with the ideas.
Yeah, and I'm
a
glad that
couple
we
of
got
ideas.
some exclusives on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
We
Yeah.
got some exclusive behind the scenes on that one. So, we're like the pimps of the industry today.
Yeah.
I mean, we've
always-
been doing some pretty good work with some indie stuff too. So it's cool that we get a little bit behind the scenes in a couple of different things. I like this a lot. I love doing this podcast show, whatever you want to call it.
Well, it looks fun. It looks great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
really fun to talk
everybody-
to people. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, we love it. We love it, and hopefully everybody has fun coming on here. Usually everybody asks us when we're coming back. Like, we'll hang up and they'll be like, "When can you schedule me again?"
You have a little alien guy. I love that.
Oh, I love that.
That's Chester.
Hey, Chester.
He's
All right.
Like a little
We love the
mascot.
aliens.
Yeah.
I love that.
He bought
should
it
be
from
in-
Ancient Aliens.
He should be in your intro.
yeah.
He
I've got
should.
this guy here too.
Oh, that's cool. I
Oh,
like
I
that.
love it.
I saw the one on your hand. I like the one on your hand too. That's neat.
And a little Frank.
Oh, that's nice.
I love
Oh,
how he
that.
named them.
That's actually the Eye of Horus, but I think it's flipped.
Yeah,
I was going to say that's Egyptian
on ours. It's like,
for sure.
Yeah.
All right, Todd, is there anything you want to leave the viewers with in closing?
Well, I can say that Canadian X, you can expect it. Will it go across the border into the United States? We're hoping because we think it's going to be huge here. We'd like to see it travel across the border and get people attached. I think it's going to be really big.
Oh, I'm already crossing the border because I'm coming to see that shit in person. You know that. Just get my dressing room ready. Thank you.
Okay.
All right, Stella, anything you want to add in conclusion?
Nope. I mean all the regular boring housekeeping stuff, but do you want to handle that? Or do you want me to handle
If
that?
you insist. So you guys know we have our sponsors. I'm sure you've heard us tell you who they are numerous times. We're not going to keep boring you with those details. We will leave the links in our descriptions from now on. Down below. Be sure to like, subscribe, comment, let us know what you thought. Definitely give this guy right here a shout out because he's amazing.
Absolutely.
And on that note, guys, thank you for being here, Todd. We are